Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the MiniFreak and some new tips and tricks that I've kind of worked out and just talk about some of the quirks on it. The first one is, because it's mainly a digital synth, there isn't a lot that stands out as analog on it, but one of the things that definitely does is the main envelope. Now it defaults to, if you go to oscillator, sorry, not oscillator, envelope, it defaults to retrig mode in continuous, but you want it on reset. Otherwise, when you do a pluck, you're going to get a bum note occasionally. So let's have a look. We've got it on reset now, but let's put it on continuous. Make it a bit more snappier. Occasionally there's a sort of bum note. I don't know if you can always hear it, but it's like one of them's dull. So you want it on retrig. And then the second one is oscillator. You want that to retrig, so it's like starting from the same phase point. If it's a sine, it starts from 0 and it goes up. So you want that as well to be on free run off. And this will give you a consistent pluck. And this is good if you was making something like a snare. So if you wanted the decay to be percussive, for example. Which is not working as I do it. There we go. And we go to decay curve, percussive. Because if I put pitch envelope on this and we use cycling envelope for this, that's about what I'd use to make a snare. So to do that, well, I would just get some white noise. Which I can't hear because I closed the filter. Because we're using this main envelope, but the amp envelope for both the white noise and the snares. Not really ideal to do snares on here, to be honest. The way I've been doing it is using the LFO for the amplitude, like the volume of oscillator 1, and then I've been using another LFO for, I'm trying to think how I did it, another LFO for the pitch of oscillator 1, because you want that pitch thing that we made at the beginning, the little stab without the white noise. You want that. I normally do it with a sine as well, sorry, a triangle as well. But you're going to want a separate envelope for the white noise. So the closest envelope that you can get without using the amp for the white noise would be this. These ones you can use the shortcut to make it exponential. So you can get something like that where it's got attack, because you want the white noise to attack. You don't want it to start from there. So you've got quite a bit of control over it here. That's the best way to do it, but it's quite complicated. Like on something like the Hydrosynth, I don't run out of envelopes or LFOs, so I don't really need to use one to do the other. I just keep using envelopes, and it's a lot easier. But that's one thing. The next one is, let's go to bass. Right, so I like to use harm, the harm oscillator by Noise Engineering, and this is to make a cool bass sound. Go down a couple of octaves, and we'll add some noise. I'm on wavetable, I don't want to be there. I want to go to harm. So just turn the first two down and the last one up. That's really nice. Put some unison on. This leads me into my next one. Effects. They're really powerful here. So one thing I like to do is let's put some super unison on as well. Even better. This gives it loads to munch on. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And then we're going to get some bit crusher. It sounds like it's over the top, but it's not. Turn this down. Okay. Next we're going to get the second oscillator. And we're going to go to multi-filter. I'm going to put it on 12-bit band pass and lots of resonance. Let's turn some of this bit crushing down because it's messing it up a bit. Okay, almost there. Let's go on to OTT. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is cut the MiniFreak out, so it'll cut out when you start hearing aliasing sounds. All the sounds that they've worked so hard to get rid of in the machine. OTT brings all of that out, especially with bit crusher before it. And something to kind of thicken. Really make it sing. The bandpass really works really well for this because essentially what you're doing is you're boosting all the frequencies and then you're picking out with a really sharp like resonance the ones you want. You can really hear that bit crusher work and it's magic. Bit breaks the sound. Put some glide up on here. Really nice. Let's take this off palm. Play around with it. Something else. Let's try saw. It's about finding the sweet spots. Admittedly here there's not as many as there normally is, so let's turn down this a bit. So nice. What else we got? Super unison. Let's change it to a flanger. I love that break up sound that it gives, like the artifacts. You start to get something there. And then you can also play around with the unison spread. Let's pull that down. again, this is bringing out all the stuff that you wouldn't normally hear. I'd say start taking OTT off. So it's a way of like enhancing effects, essentially. OTT is your friend. Alright, on to the next one. The next one, if we go to noise, let me turn all of them down. We get a crackle, which is lovely. If we go to the next one and we choose, I don't know, maybe car plus strong will do. I can find a thing. There. Right. Turn that up. Give it some release. Stick some chorus on it. And some OTT. And lastly some reverb. I really like the long reverb on here. So now let's turn down the first one. First oscillator, the noise. Really nice. Okay, so the next one is pitch modulation. This can be applied to anything, but we'll use this as an example. So first connection, I've done pitch mod to cycling envelope. But what if that's not enough? I go to sine. Sorry, if I go to FM. Let me get a sine up. Now, what if I was to press assign 1 and choose oscillator 1's pitch? Now we have it as two destinations. We have it as the original one, and we have it as assigned. And you can already hear it's pushing it further. Let's make it more obvious though. So it stays in the high end for longer. I don't like doing those kind of sounds, but essentially you can use it to push the modulation twice as much. So if you was making like a snare sound, then you could make it more snappier, the initial pluck, which is essentially that. But if that wasn't snappy enough for you, you've got some extra modulation. As you see, it only goes up to 6. Oh, I don't know if you see on the video, but it only goes up to 60. So when you do pitch modulation, this way you can do it to 120, which is more. And that's that one. We just check the next one. Okay, the next one's easy, if I haven't explained it already. This next one is, I've got a preset here called leggy. So essentially, the envelope on this sweeps up slowly, and then it's got loads of 16th, like saw waves, like triangle. So if I play it from a note and I let go, it's always going to start again. But if I play it and wait till it gets fast and then flick onto a different note, you get an interesting effect. And this is just legato on the filter. Really useful. Okay, so we've talked about envelope retriggering, oscillator retriggering, pitch modulation, running multi-comp at the end of the chain. Yeah, multi-compressor is really good at the end of the chain. If you're trying to like bring out the quiet parts of a sound that you've made, multi-comp is your friend. But it's a whole other subject really. And we've talked about how to bring out aliasing and frequencies that Arturia have worked really hard to avoid. And not just Arturia, companies work hard to avoid. It's just making things sound nice. When you sweep an EQ, you don't want to hear like horrible noises in between. But when you're sound designing for drum and bass and dubstep, those horrible noises suddenly become really useful. Not just for bass sounds, but for percussive, glitchy sounds as well. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this tips and tricks video. I really enjoyed doing them, and hopefully I'll find more. And thanks for your time.